First of all, I wish to apologise on behalf of the team to English Heritage, Heritage Britain, and all the archaeologists in here for what you're about to see. But at least most of it's finished up at the British Museum, so we did well. Anyway, now I'll take you back 36 years to, who are we? Southwest Maritime Archaeological Group. We used to be called Southwest Archaeological Group, and that sounded like swag. And then the archaeologists didn't like that, so we put an M in the middle, and we went to the palace. How long have we been together? Well, original team, and there's one or two of us here, been together for well over 40 years. And we're in now over 36 years on the Salcombe sites, or South Devon sites, and 30th year in working the Salcombe Cannon site and Bronze Age site. Unfortunately, the original team are now too old, part of a pensioners club, and we're hoping to get a new bunch together. Anybody here would like to join us in the future, see John Parler. There's a lot of excitement. Right, it started in the Erm Estuary, 1989. The spear fisherman, Steve George, wrote down in his little book, spotted some cannons on the seabed. There they are. He then got in touch with, hang on, get used to this thing, the Bigbury Bay dive team down in South Devon, his friends, and he reported the find. They in turn got hold of us, which was Northampton British Tobacco Club, which I was a member. But we had lots of friends between the two clubs, and so we were looking for an Armada wreck on the River Clyde. We never found the wreck. We know it's there at Porton Cross. We had a dust up with Sir Richard Branston and his dive team over that wreck, which still hasn't been resolved. But anyway, so down we go to the Erm Estuary. 1990, 1995, we did a pre-disturbance survey of the seabed that can be carried out. Dates for the cannon was given between 1500 and 1630, and several more cannon and anchor was discovered along items of ship's rigging. We then asked for an emergency protection order, which was granted, and it was already reported in all the proprietary papers, Times, Telegraph, Guardian, and within weeks the site was looted. So it didn't work. So we were started to be very suspicious of authority after that. That's the Erm Estuary, lovely, lovely area of the south of South Devon. So we decided, we can't do that today, but we decided to lift a cannon. So we stropped it up, tied 3 giant lifting bags onto the cannon and blew it to the surface. Took it to Marlborough in South Devon and put it in pickle for 20 years with soda and zinc, and took it out over 20 years later and gave it to the village of Prawle. There we are, presented it to the village, and hopefully it's still there and it's not fallen to bits. Also, we found this lump of crud. You try and explain crud to, I know you all know, you're all divers, you all know the sea, you know the condition of stuff we find, but civilians don't, and I have a hard time telling them what's around that carronade, that swivel gun. Anyway, we took the crud off, and we found it was shotted with pebbles. Now that would do you a lot of harm if that hit you. And some wadding in there as well. But yeah, anyway, during 1993, while extending the search, what we did with what we'd found, which we assume is a French or a Spanish galleon, we searched around it in ever increasing circles until we hit one of the reefs, and we found a piece of, it wasn't stone, it was heavy. So Jim over there took it to Northampton, had it analysed, pure tin. That caused a little sensation at the time. And a lady wrote a paper about it, and we started to become famous. And we were thinking of, wow, what we got here, lads, because we're just normal divers, So, and the experts dated the tin ingot as either Bronze Age or Roman. there's a picture of myself and Jim just handing an ingot into Neville in the Zodiac, and there it is. I say it's like an upturned cowpat, but it is, isn't it? You know, all shapes and sizes. Close by, I think, I remember diving in that area there. Close by, there was lots of timber about, and we thought, oh, goody, this could be part of the wreck, so we can start putting the two together. But no, we cut a bit of the timber off, had dendrochronology performed on it, and the timber was found to be 7,000 years old. And there it is. I mean, look at that, 7,000 years old. Yet we're still to go back there. We haven't been back there since because events, as you'll see, took us over. But there you go. One day somebody's going to have an interesting dive the other side of the reef. Oh, for that we went to the palace. I got a gold medal. BSAC gold medal. Brilliant day that was. It was something to be remembered. Third from the left stands a lady. Because we were an amateur team, we had to have an archaeologist, a maritime archaeologist. We couldn't find one, but we found a land archaeologist, and probably within 2 weeks she was at the palace, got a diploma, gold medal. We all piled out of the palace, went to a pub in London, got absolutely sloshed, all of us. So did she. And she left, wavering down the road, never saw her again. Brilliant. And now we've got Dave Parham. Brilliant. Oh, it's funny. Anyway, also we decided to become proper archaeologists, so we took NAS Part 2 and got it. So we were all ready to go, but we did not know what was in front of us. This was the start. 29th of April, 1995. The sea conditions were really bad in the. We come down. 5 of us came down from Northampton, and we were going to have a dive no matter what. It was like a coal mine down there. So we said, what we're going to do? The sea was breaking over the reef. We said, let's go round to Salcombe if it's flat. Okay, so we found it was okay round there. Just so a decision was made to go around there, 17 miles of terrible rough weather. We got round there, yes, nice and flat, and we to dive a site that was found 2 years previously by Henley-on-Thames British Sub-Aqua Club, and they were soon to be very, very sick for what we found. But anyway, we went there, found the green can, plastic can buoy. We went down, had a look, thought, "Oh, this looks good." The cannons lying about all over the place. So we went back ashore on the Saturday night, had our meeting in the pub, Fortescue Arms. Decided the following day, Sunday, to dive it properly, and went over there. 5 of us, first divers in. I won't say who, because otherwise you call me a big head. But went down the gully. Something yellow was glinting, looked a bit odd. A nice lump of gold. By the side of it was a coin with squiggly writing on. And I honestly, going back to that day, now I thought we got the Merchant Royal because there was gold everywhere. And there's a few coins, gold coins, and then we, as started to muck about. I mean, there's Mick Evans there, the big nugget there, half the size of a golf ball, and little plastic cup there with all coins in, bits of jewellery. And I decided to put a couple of coins in my eyes. Archaeologists don't like that. They think it's silly. Well, I'm sorry, that's what you do. And I don't care who you are, you're going to do stupid. Every orifice is going to be stuffed with gold. But anyway, we soon got serious because we realised that, I don't know, we calmed down, hearts have stopped beating so rapidly. Dave, bottom left there, his wife came out with a camera and took these photographs. She came out with his sandwiches, took these photographs, which are the only ones we got of that day. And we were thinking then, what shall we do? We've got the rest of the team are in Northampton. there's just five of us down there. Shall we keep it quiet? I mean, what's down there? You know. So we decided, after discussion's sake, to bring everybody in. You know, to. And I remember going to my house, which is in Northampton. There we go. Little did we know what the future would hold for us. And there we all are around the table full of coins. And I remember ringing up one of the lads, and he said, "Well, all right, Ron, what did you find?" I said, "Oh, yeah." I said, "Listen," I held a coin and dropped gold coins all over the breakfast bar. He says, "What's that?" And I told him. He was rounding minutes, honestly. But anyway, it's just something I'll never forget of what we were finding and how we felt about it. Anyway, here we are with the usual tins of beer discussing what we we're going to do. The receiver of a wreck was informed because there's so much down there. We were a bit frightened that we weren't going to get looted. She said, "Keep quiet for 2 years. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell your dog. Don't tell your partner, your lover, your boyfriend. Don't tell anybody that you found what you found." And we didn't. One dive. Got boring. And I'll tell you right now, we didn't know at the time, and only 2 years ago, the Daily Mail published a picture of a gold dinar looking like ours, 3.4 million, one coin. We don't know. We don't know what the British Museum have got now. Anyway, there's the gold coins. There's some of the best ones there. And we got over 500 actually, were struck during the Moroccan's Sadid Sharif dynasty ruled by Ahmed al-Mashur, 1627 to 1636, and he was known as the Golden One. 100 of the coins were struck during the reign of one of his sons, as you can read there, showing a full, half, and quarter dinars. And they are just as you find them. Gold never changes. Also, we found this gold jewellery, some lovely pieces, chopped, and all from Africa, African origin. At least the British Museum have told us that the gold comes from the mines of Timbuktu, so we do know that. And we do know that the coins are struck at the gates of Marrakesh in Morocco. That much we do know. Also, we found these. Now, the big one in the middle is what we call a finger ingot. You can just about make out the nail, pretty impression of a nail. What these little blighters were doing, I think so. I don't know, Mike might disagree. You might, or Dave might disagree, but I think we got one man's share in the jar. And they were melting, he was melting gold down, making an impression in the sand and pouring in molten gold. That's what we think. Because I don't know, we still don't know. We'll find out one day. But work continued in secret for 2 more years. Islamic coins, which are getting quite boring actually, because we wanted to know what the shit was, what the vessel was. Moroccan jewellery, pewter, pottery, and other objects. And that, do you like that, Viz, in South Devon? That's not bad. Also, thanks to Mike and Julie Williams for bringing that pipe up. There we go, Dutch Baroque pipe, very, very rare, 1640. Did it still have traces of tobacco in, Mike? Yeah, there you go. Underneath a heavy, heavy anchor. And that came up like that. Brilliant. Also, merchant seal mark. There is an M and a reversed R and probably a T and a diamond. We also close by found a pewter bowl with an M and an R and a shield. We thought, great, we could be able to identify the wreck. But however, all records of merchant seal marks and pewter bowl marks were destroyed in the Great Fire of London. So if anybody here can help us, please come and see us, because we don't know up to date what that wreck is. Right, British Museum, 1997. 2 years later, we had to declare it. So Fleet Street got hold of it. Got my age wrong there. If you can see it. Also the Telegraph, and I'm not going to say it. I was fortunate enough to find the first gold coin, and we all said to one another in the museum, okay, don't ever mention who found it first. It's a team effort, which I totally agree. Somebody had to find it. In the end, they got so fed up with reporters saying, who found it first? Who found it? Found it? They said, he did. And that was it. So we chased all over the place. So, yeah, but it was great. It was a great day. But while we were there was a press conference. We were talking, and this little chap came up to, excuse me, he says, I'm from America. I want to purchase the gold. Oh, yeah, all right, okay. You know, he says, my employer is prepared to offer you $2.25 million. You can imagine what we felt like. He said, that's nothing to do with us. We've got to go through English law, English maritime law, blah, 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 which is quite, which in actual fact, the coins were taken away from us and we had to wait what was going to happen to them. But no, sorry, mate, you can't do it. Okay. British Museum then went to all the auction houses, valued the coins, the collection, and eventually paid out to us just under £100,000. The receiver Rex said, we won't take any tax out of you because you've been good boys. Thank you very much. It's not a lot between 13 of us. So the British Museum then put on these displays. First year was the top one, the second, third, fourth year, I think, was the next one. And I think this was, you took this photograph, Jim. This is about 2017, wasn't it? Yeah, about COVID. And that's on the Money Gallery. That one, yeah. So if you're standing looking at, well, a reduced collection of our coins and sound and weight, etc., and you turn around, we've got other stuff in another case, but that's from a different era. Anyway, that's not UK waters, by the way. Conclusions to date, what is the record? Well, Barbary Pirate is a favourite one because one or two people say, oh, it's a Barbary Pirate. It could be, we don't know. Or it could be a Dutch or British merchant trader because both Holland and England apparently were short of gold to fight wars. And they sent a lot of their ships out to North Africa to loot. And this is what we've got. Like I say now, we haven't found a cannonball. So once we find a cannonball, we found the cargo, because that's where the cannonballs are stowed. And what's in that cargo? You might read it one day. I don't know, but it's got to be a bullion cargo of gold. Anyway, that's the future for the new team. Right, Salcombe. Little did we know, as we bimbled that 17 miles in stormy waters to the little star there, that across about half a mile away, Moor Sands, a Bronze Age site was discovered by some students in 1979. We didn't care. We were quite busy bringing up gold and bits and pieces. So the Cannon site, as we called it then, the Cannon site or the gold wreck, was protected. So that's the third protection order we've got on that site. In the meantime, more and more discoveries were being made, and one find was from the 17th century. Wasn't from the 17th century. This is half a mile out, the Moor Sands Bronze Age site on the Cannon site, 17th century, and we find that. I don't know who brought that up, but somebody then said, it's a Palstave axe head, some wise guy. Bronze Age. Oh, is it? Why? What's it doing down there? And I can remember thinking, oh God, what we got down there? An Indiana Jones wreck. Honestly thought that. So the first, again, I might as well say now, because of all we were finding and the joy amongst a bunch of blokes, as we all enjoyed each other's company, lots of cuddles, lots of hairy cuddles. So sorry for you girls, hairy these men cuddling you because you've done something good. But first Bronze Age find, axe heads, because I say we went mad and were diving the area. More Bronze Age finds, including swords and rapiers. There's a few of them. We found lots of them actually. And this fella, now I admit I found that it was stuck in the sand like that. And so I worked my way down and felt, oh, it's a sword, a rapier. All pleased with myself, because the thing is, what we always do is wind each other up. That's our joy. So sat down, got out, started to get the kit off. What you found, Ron? So I just smiled. He's found something. What you found, Ron? Well, all right. Got my kit off and I stood up, Excalibur. None of them were impressed at all. Honestly. And somebody said, I don't know who said it, Jim, Mick, step over and show Ron what you just found. So he stepped from the one rib to the other. He said, shut your eyes, hold your hand out, Ron. And I did. He dropped that in my hand. A heavy lump of 3,500-year-old gold. Well, yeah, there you go. Checkmate. So, and more cuddles and more. What on earth have we got down there? We got 17th century gold, and then we started to find Bronze Age gold. So you can imagine, all of that's in next week. In brilliant, it's just a roller coaster. And this is a tray sent to the British Museum with various things in, and you see a bit of a gold bracelet in the top there. But this is the sort of thing we marked everything, we numbered everything, weighed everything, we did everything properly as part two archaeologists from the NAS do. We also, this is probably a typical view of the seabed of a Salcombe. Round stones didn't look right, shouldn't have been there. So somebody said, look, cover all the round stones up with yellow netting so we can plot them on the computer. I think Dave used to cut it up, one of those in half, and it came from the northwest coast of France, didn't it? Yeah. Yeah. What's it doing down there? It's part of a Bronze Age ballast. So we'd found the boat. That's the boat, but obviously in bits. Also, we're finding modern bricks. There's one there down bottom right. Pest, nuisance, because they gave off a signal on our now nice metal detectors. There they are, 2 bricks. Annoying. Again, as we searched more out, we found a large pile of bricks, about half the size of this room. Over the top, anchor chain, anchor, back again. Then we found a winch. Underneath the winch was a piece of pottery, and it got Alf on it. So Exmouth, Falmouth, Plymouth, Dartmouth or Teignmouth. I had some time then, retired, decided to do a bit of research, and I found out that she was a, come on. There you go. Right, what right? Lord Napier of Dartmouth, 44 years old, catch, 42 tons, 2 crew, Exmouth to Kingsbridge with a cargo of bricks. So we got it. Lost a half a mile off of Rickham in Devon, so spot on. So the research I did, there's a picture of a sister ship, the Julie, that was wrecked on the Lizard Peninsula. So the research led into North Sea fishing grounds because some guy up north had invented fishing ships, and the country went mad for fish. So the Lord Napier then joined the mad rush into the North Sea to provide this fish. First and Second World Wars, the owners of the Lord Napier and the crew fought in both the First and Second World Wars, and it led myself and another guy in the team to a war memorial in Devon. And believe you me, very moving. After doing all that research, then you see the names that you've been researching on a war memorial. 10 minutes left, right again. Right, object found between a rapier and a spearhead, marked CK, and it was that little lump of metal. So I remember sitting in the boat, we put it on our nose, thinking, well, what is it? Sent it away to the British Museum, and we got a note back from Dr. Stuart Needham of the British Museum, and he wrote, the Sicilian object from Salcombe is therefore the first secure object of Mediterranean bronze origin and Bronze Age date to be found in Northwest Europe. So we'd actually found proof of trade between Europe and the Mediterranean in the Bronze Age. Our little team, brilliant. And it said it's just part of a plough, a shoe that would have fitted over the end of the plough that dug into the soil. And if they said that and somebody wrote a paper on it, it's gospel. So brilliant. And it now rests in the Plymouth Art Gallery and Museum with some of our stuff there. Right, 3,500-year-old bracelets. Brilliant find here. There they are. I think Dave brought that up. One dive he'd done. There's the gold, 3,500 years old, as yellow as the day that it went down. And the little bracelet on the left there, absolutely incredible. And you'll see the size of it in a minute. There it is in close view, all twisted. 3,500 years ago, they made that, and they actually used solder to solder the end. Now it's a mixture of gold and silver. Incredible. This is the other one. You can see the man's fingernail. That's how tiny they are. And only two more have ever been found in the world. One in the tomb in northern France, and the other one in the tomb in Wales. And we found two more close together off Salcombe. Right, and Ben Roberts said, twisted gold bracelets are rare and represent the pinnacle of early gold working. So that's another plus for us. Right, every year we did some mag searching every winter, and we found a nice hit there where the red dot is. So the following year, we decided to look at it, see what it was, and we found another wreck. But this time it was a motor vessel, Duran, that caught fire and sank. But one of the new lads that came to join us, dived it and came up with something that was definitely not modern again. And there's a picture of it. And it turned, I thought it was molten copper from the engine room of this motor vessel, but no, it's the first Bronze Age copper ingot found in this country. The first, there's probably plenty more, but the first that's been found. Incredible. And there's some of the lads there looking all pleased with themselves. Jim holding a copper ingot there. And yeah, and the following weekends we were going nuts. We were bringing up loads of stuff. That was in the Bronze Age was more valuable than gold, because gold and tin make weapons. Right, belongs to Hewitt Park period, 10th to 9th centuries. No proof yet they're British in origin. That's a Ben Roberts again. Right, tin ingots. The only tin ingots found outside of Europe in the Eastern Mediterranean. Apparently somebody's just done a paper now saying similar tin ingots have been found off of Israel. But I don't know any more than that. There's one that's myself picking up, the heaviest one that's been sitting on the rock for 3,500 years. Very, very heavy. Bronze Age gold. One of the lads' wives bought him a camera, cheap underwater camera. First dive of the year, he saw that underneath the rock. Now, if I tell you that's worth £10,000 because a Welsh museum bought one for 10,000. There you are, just sitting underneath the rock. There's three more. And some more gold, Bronze Age. Diver's Dream. Dave came up with that. Now, that might upset archaeologists, I don't know, but that was sticking in like that. Perfect, still sharp, Bronze Age. Andy came up with a rapier around about the same spot. I suppose what we should have done is built a box, nails in, put the thing in there, wrap it in rags and bring it up slowly. I don't know. Well, that's what you do. Sorry about that. Yeah, okay. Hewitt Park period, 1100 to 900 BC. Right, there's a British Museum display case. We're in there, and description of who we are at the bottom. Right, position 2021 diving. Quickly, 17th century wreck site found 1995. Bronze Age wreck site adjacent to 2003. The two protected areas, the Cannon site protected area and the Bronze Age area, and the 1979 Morsand site found by the university students, and the new site that we found, which I think is part and parcel of the blue square, the yellow, are one wreck. So we found two wrecks of the Bronze Age. Valuation day at the British Museum, they said, let's see what you boys have found over a few years. So they put all our stuff out on tables, and there we are. And that's why potentially I think we're going to be a World Heritage Site. Maybe one day, I don't know. But that's not bad, is it? Back to the palace, 2008. So the old Duke, who was always very, very interested in what we do. Yeah, that's in the Chinese room or the balcony room. We had some fun that day. Drinking all his friends' wine, anyway. Absolutely slosh we got it. Right, team achievements. First find of Islamic gold in Northern Europe. We proved trade occurred between the Mediterranean and Europe in the Bronze Age. And the new group have just won the Archaeological UK Community Project of the year 2025. This is a picture of some of the old divers and some of the new divers, John there's Becky, there's Ali, and I'm hoping that it's going to take over from us oldies, the new blood. And I also want to say thank you very much to Ali, Jenny, and Mark of MSDS who have rescued our team. And they do deserve, they've worked very, very hard. Thank you to them both. So there you go. Woo, made it. Thank you.